What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're switching it up a little bit. I've got the Marvel Legends display tour for you, so hopefully you enjoy it. For those of you who checked out the top 23 of 2023, appreciate that. For those of you who left a comment asking to see the display, absolutely appreciate that. So here we are. Here's the display tour. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Let's check it out.
Now tuning into the encountered culture.
Being erased, I'm being replaced. Counter-culture's in your face. Trying to pretend that you want it to end. I'd rather be drinking with my friends. When we go out, you'll never see us again.
All right, so let's kick it off. Of course, you recognize that. That's the backdrop. That's what you see at the intros to the videos. But let's move over into the collection. This is the only on-card part of the display, in-box part of the display, if you will. I am absolutely a loose collector, so don't keep a lot of in-box stuff, but I do like to keep this rotating display. I think it's a nice thing just to have on the wall there. Of course, they change out from time to time. In the last year's video, they were different figures. I think the only one that will stay over time is going to be that Unlimited Daredevil, though, as that will be one of the more exceedingly rare figures coming in, down the line for years to come. So just my hot take on that. But yeah, let's move up. So got this painting here. I picked this up in Times Square, New York City, many years ago. One of the guys just, selling his art on the side of the street. I thought that was really cool, so I decided to pick it up. No other story behind that. The Marvel Comics sign up there, that was picked up at like a Marshall's or TJ Maxx. Just one of those finds that you come across on a random day. Of course, you recognize the cards from the 20th anniversary figures, and then the man himself, Stan Lee, hanging out with Pizza Spidey up there. Those two just looking out over the collection, as they should, right? Anyway, got this Kit Bashed Angel that's been hanging out there for some time. Really looking forward to adding that new Angel. That was a definite day one pre-order for me, so super excited to how that's going to take a place and replace that Angel in the collection, and I can get that Cyclops back. Storm up there on the Toy Biz stand. I love using those Toy Biz stands for a lot of figures. Not too much, but just sprinkle them in here and there. I do think they add like a nice little layer and just make some figures pop a little bit more. Cannonball hanging out, probably the only good way to display this figure to make it make any sense, I guess. I don't hate it as much as some people, but it is a weird call. Sentinel stuff going on. I never bit the bullet on the HasLab. I just wasn't there when it came out. Didn't think that I needed to add it. Certainly have regretted that a little bit, in the years since, but eventually I'll get there, but there's no real rush on that. I have these other Sentinels, which to me, they look just as nice in the collection. Spider-Man hanging out. Amazing Friend Spider-Man. That is one of the best Spider-Man figures in the entire line. I am a big fan of that. Thunderbird, a few multiple man figures, that awesome X-23, of course. Just some really nice figures that have come out. This Bishop, this Forge, I haven't seen the need to replace these with their more modern counterparts in the main display. I do have the figures, but they haven't superseded these ones. I think these two just offer a little bit more as far as their look, so for me, they're still good to go. Yeah, here's another one of those Toy Biz stands on Iceman. That Havoc, I'm a fan of that with those effects. Kicking it over, we got some new mutant action going on here. Monet's just hanging out for the time being because I didn't have another home for her just yet. But I don't hate it, so who knows? Maybe she'll stay. We'll see. Moving up into the more 90s vibe, of course, you got that beautiful retro carded Beast. Love that figure. Some great bangers in there. Yeah, just some nice looks. As far as that Jim Lee era goes, So I'm really happy that I've been able to build that out over the last, few years for sure. Warlock, another great Build-A-Figure, one that, I don't know, maybe just is underrated, possibly. I don't know. But there's the X-Men display, so one of my favorites in the entire collection. Certainly have loved building that out and adding to it over the years. Moving down into the villains, X-Men villains at least. We got Sauron. This may be my favorite Hasbro Build-A-Figure for Marvel Legends. It's just a great Build-A-Figure. Brotherhood going on down here, so we've really started to build that out over the last few years. Looking forward to getting the green suit Quicksilver because that's long overdue. Juggernaut here. I go back and forth on which one I prefer, but I think I tend to lean towards the 2-pack version as opposed to the BAF. Either way, though, they're both really nice. Magneto, I've switched into the X-Men 97 for a little bit because I went back and forth on which one I really prefer, but at the end of the day, I think the color and scheme on this version, the Family Matters version, to me is much better. Conversely, with the Scarlet Witch, I did go with the retro carded version as opposed to the Family Matters pack. That one I actually put in the Avengers display. Just the color scheme, the pop, it works better for me in my display. But yeah, you've just been getting some really nice Brotherhood figures. This Blob, of course, if you slept on this Blob, then you've missed out. Unless you have that Build-A-Figure, then I think you're doing okay. There's a Kit Bash. I use that Love Triangle Cyclops just to give myself an evil morph in the display, and another one of those diorama pieces. You got Arcade hanging out there. Apocalypse. So speaking of BAFs, that to me is the best Toy Biz BAF for Marvel Legends. That Apocalypse, it just still looks so good in the display. Got some horsemen there. I think they've all been pestilence at some point aside from death, but maybe we'll get the actual 4 horsemen at some point or get more horsemen at least. Some more villains up in the back. You've got that Strife. So I do have the newer Strife, but haven't replaced it yet. Omega Red. I chose this version, Sauron version, over the 5-pack version. I like the adamantium tentacles a little bit better in silver than in white. So for me, it was a toss-up, but there you go. Strife still haven't replaced this one with the newer one. Again, it's one of those toss of the coin type things. They're both going to be in the display, so probably just rotate it. Another one I'm really looking forward to, though, is Sabretooth. That figure, this is the Diamond Select, one of the few select figures in the collection. This, to me, was the better version for now, but really looking forward to that 2-pack one. That'll be the definitive for me for sure. And then another little kit bash here for Mastermind. Recipes there, Mobius and the Duster from Old Man Logan. And there you go. There's a little bit of your Brotherhood and then some other X-Men villains as well. Keeping it in the X-Men theme, we've got the, of course, the Reavers over here. Lady Deathstrike looking good. I like that figure a lot. Pretty Boy, another. I like every figure in this area, but like Bonebreaker, such a nice BAF. Pretty Boy, glad to get that. Yeah, Skullbuster. I use the Cable though on Reese back there. Just to me was a nice look. And then moving over to these training suits. This is probably one of the best things for me that the team has put out in a long time. Just the potential here for kit bashing and display. I mean, you can see I've just like sprinkled in several other kit bashes just to like bulk this up. I love the way the suits look together, that real team unity vibe going on. I've got a Rogue in there using the Outback head, one of the Gene heads from the Love Triangle, Cyclops as well. Yeah, Legion, Joseph up in there. Just a lot of possibility, right? So that leads to the fun part of collecting. And then starting somewhat of a Mojo verse. Eventually this will go somewhere else, and I'll replace that with the Mojo World box set version. I do have it, just haven't replaced it yet. I think the colors just look a little bit better on that one. There you go, there's that shelf. Then we'll come down to the Hellfire Club. Great set. If you've got it, if you're trying to get it, I wish you the best. I've just thrown in the Stepford Cuckoos there because why not? To me, in my mindset, there's something there. You could make something out of that. The connection between them and Emma Frost for sure. So it just seemed like a cool idea. Have fun with your displays. Of course, Hellfire Guards back there, another Toy Biz display piece, which really adds some like dead Hellfire goons, right? And then AOA of the X-Men, last but not least, they did quote get demoted down to a shelf. They were higher on another side, but I wanted to get all the X-Men in line and get that there. And it's not exactly my favorite shelf, so it did move down to the bottom, but it's still there. So there are some really good looking figures in those two waves. Hopefully they'll sprinkle the rest in. I don't think we'll get a third full wave of these, but maybe onesies and twosies here and there. I'm going to pause from the collection for a moment. You'll see these under some of my racks, my display shelves. I just like these little, they're like arts and crafts containers, display containers, but I'll drop a link if I can find it down below. But what I like about these is you can really change how you want it laid out. So it comes with these dividers. You can break them up, divide them however you want. So it really gives you the ability to, spread things out. Your head's here, your arms there, your hands, your weapons, accessories, power effects. I just like the flexibility that these types of things give you. Of course, there are a variety of options, bigger, smaller, whatever. Thing I like about these, though, is I can just slide them right under the display. Moving on, so for those of you who have a lot of figures in your collection, you'll probably understand this quite well. This is just a random villain shelf because they have overflowed into other areas, and I don't have a specific home in the display just yet. So this is more of a waiting room for the villains, if you will. Some duplicates, some extras, some just too big to fit into some shelves. Some works in progress with that Shadow King back there. Extra figures, like I said, they'll eventually make their way somewhere in the display, just haven't yet. This is one of my many like multi-team shelves. So over to the left here, Squadron Supreme. Super happy about how quickly they've been putting these figures out. The fact that we got the 5 of these in such quick succession, like it's fairly impressive. If you've been collecting Marvel Legends for a long time, you know how long it takes to complete some teams. I'm doing a little Invaders display here. I got the Human Torso, so a retro carded one absolutely works perfectly for that version. I thought about opening a second one just to have Toro, but I'm debating on whether I want to use like an older Toy Biz figure just to have them look a little bit different. So more to follow on that. That's still a work in progress, but really liking how that's coming together. Another team that I'm looking forward to completing is Excalibur. So you'll see the Saber down there. That's from the Star-Lord, the Walmart exclusive one. My plan is when the X-Men 97 Nightcrawler comes out is to swap the head with one of the older Nightcrawler heads and then give him that saber, and then boom, that will be my Nightcrawler in the Excalibur display. Of course, I still need that Rachel Summers whenever that comes out, but hey, still good to add figures to the team collection. Dark Avengers going on back here, so a lot of cool kit bash opportunities with the Iron Patriot, Norman Osborn head, that Hawkeye with the Bullseye alternate head. So as we get more of them, adding some more Dark Avengers, that would be cool. A nice new Dakin would be pretty great, Hasbro. So next is another one of these multi-teamed shelves. Of course, here we've got Winter Guard, so looking forward to getting that Red Widow figure. Like how that's come together. Simple. I like these team shelves because, it's usually just a few members and can fit multiple teams on one shelf. In the back here, this is just, what I've done in my free time with nothing better to do. Just putting together a version of the new Fantastic Four. Not a real version, but could be one day, And had those extra black suit Fantastic Four figures after replacing them with the retro, so why not? Alpha Flight back there. Love that set. Glad that we got a majority of those in a box set, years ago. But just another instance where getting a team together. and being able to collect all those. And down here, I've just put together a team of the Illuminati. We've gotten several versions of each of these figures, so being able to put it together wasn't, too tasking, and gives the opportunity just to have something. And I wanted to use this like AI Tony Stark for some reason, so I know it's not like accurate by any means necessarily, but I liked it. And then a kit bash here between the movie Professor X and House of X, Xavier. And I think that's a Toy Biz chair down there. So there you go. There's another random team shelf. Moving up, this is one of my more favorite shelves. I just like it because I like how all of these work together on the display, right? So you've got some X Force, some X Factor, some Deadpool and Associates, Mercs for Hire, whatever. Um, they all just kind of have a nice semi cohesiveness, at least for what I'm displaying. So it's a shelf that I've liked putting together. Let's see, a little Morlocks slash Marauders situation going on in the back, and just some really great figures in there. Hydra Bob, those multiple men figures, a Hit Monkey. I took this Polaris. I actually gave her the hands for the Scroll Queen. I like that because we get so many of these bubble effects with these figures. Just having so many is so redundant. So being able to use those hands, I think, just broke it up a little bit, and I think it works really well. So that's from the Scroll Queen. Let's see, down here, of course, we've already covered Multiple Men Random, another figure that I really enjoy. Cyborg Spider-Man, one of my favorite Marvel Legends. It's just so random. Hit Monkey, Dupe, of course. So Dupe, that's a nice little throwback. This Hydra Bob, so I had the Kit Bash version of Hydra Bob in here before. I was actually happy to add this. I do like the silver eyes on the Kit Bash version, but I like the color pop on this one. So just swap those out, replaced it. Just a good looking figure. Siren there with her, not too impressed to be here look on her face. Much like some of you in the audience. Just kidding. Hopefully not. All right. Strong Guy, that's another good Build-A-Figure too. Now we're getting up into the Cosmos, right? So this is one of the first Cosmo shelf. This is like the good guys side, if you will. One of 3 Cosmo shelves, sort of the center of the display. So pulling out here, you can see some of it. We'll go over more of it, but got this Guardians pack, of course, Entertainment Earth exclusive pack. Super nice set if you've got it. Got the Starjammers coming together back there. Another team that I am excited about building up. So glad we've gotten at least a few figures so far. A couple more that we need, but yeah, I like it. In the back there, I got like a Nova core thing going on because why not? I have a few of these Nova figures. That Titus, that's another good Build-A-Figure that I just never really hear about. You got Quasar hanging out up there. Kree. So Kree, we need some more Kree soldiers. Some army builders. Hasbro, you haven't been doing those army builders in a while. What's up? Moving over here, of course, you see another Drax. This Drax is so good, I couldn't leave him out. So it's sort of an older Guardians thing happening in the middle there. This whole thing is multiversal, right? So just deal with it. Up here, we got some Inhumans going on. Shi'ar, like that. I love that we're getting a new Lilandra. It's gonna look a lot better than this Kit Bash version. So, looking forward to adding that. We need a Lockjaw though. This is from that pack, too small, and I don't want to bite the bullet on the Mezco one. So, we definitely need another one of those. Got some Asgardians hanging out in the front. They've given us a lot of good options there. Thor will come up in a minute. Don't worry. Kristar. Super cool figure, really enjoy that. Super random though, so that's where he's gonna hang out. And then that Adam Warlock, looking, a classic Adam Warlock would be cool too. Captain Universe hanging out up there, Guardian, Beta Ray Bill, just some nice stuff. Another select figure in the collection, the Watcher. Like, I don't know, this to me, I know the like Hasbro one is a what if version. So having this Uatu from Select is, yeah, it's a good looking figure. There's Thor coming in. I think we'll get a better clip of it. I had no other use for Negative Zone Spidey, so this, for whatever reason, made sense, and I like the way it looked. So there's that. Yeah, Thor. So this is your Masterson version of Thor from that 2-pack with Destroyer, that swinging Mjolnir from Ragnarok. What I do hate is how many figures you have to buy to like put together a good version, but yeah, it looks good. So at the end of the day, that's the important thing. So there you go. There's some of the good guys. In the middle, though, we've got the main antagonist here, Galactus. Everybody's fighting him, the good, the bad. Everybody's coming after him. There's all the heralds. They've really done a nice job of getting all the heralds out. Not all the heralds, but a good majority of heralds out. Still need a few, but I like what we've got so far. Even got Disco Dazzler hanging out. Fantastic Four. I personally am a fan of the retro carded. I like the look of those retro carded ones. So I know they kind of hit clearance everywhere, and everybody, I guess, didn't like them as much as I did, but that's all right. Of course, it is the Walgreens Human Torch, because that one is far superior in looks, aesthetically. Not like, do what you want with your collection, but aesthetically, that one to me is the better. And then the Frankie and Valeria 2-pack, I do like the contrast of having them in the black uniforms as the kids. So a lot of cool stuff going on with the Fantastic Four there. And then boom, just a nice zoomed out shot of that as we move over to the bad guy side. Really changed this up from last time, kind of moved some things around. Got these Dooms from that 2-pack with Captain Marvel for some Doom bots. If you don't want that Doctor Doom for that pack for your Doctor Doom, they make great Doom bots. I'm just saying. So I like it. I like the way that's coming together. Of course, I have this Thanos over here. This is the Build-A-Figure from, or no, this is the Walmart one from years ago with the King Thanos head from that deluxe version. Was a select version in the previous display, but kept the Lady Death and, moved him in. Building up the Skrull army. I did a kit bash here with the What If Gamora. That kind of looks like a version of the Skrull Queen from a run. I can't remember off the top of my head, but somebody will drop it in the comments, I'm sure. I like the way it looks. The greens don't match exactly, so that's something I got to work on, but I needed to use that Spider-Woman costume for a different display, so yeah, full disclosure there, right? Skrull army building together, kind of building up, looking nice. Pro tip here, if you can find some cheap Darwins and you've already purchased a couple of these Skrull army builders, just swing that belt around so you don't see the X anymore, and then pop those Skrull heads on, and then find some other hands. And then boom, suddenly you've doubled your Skrull army. Easy peasy. All right, Fin Fang Foom. That wasn't here last year, so this is the AliExpress version, but hey, still looks good, and I wasn't about to spend all that money on the Build-A-Figure, so take that for what you will. King in Black Venom. I like this Venom. The wings, though, not a fan of how droopy they are. They just don't hold up, which kind of sucks, but still looks good hanging there. There's another one of your Toy Biz pieces back there with Phoenix. That's from I think just from the regular Phoenix from Toy Biz, not Dark Phoenix, but looks good, I think. You got some great villains they've really put out, some underrated ones. Psycho Man, I think, is underrated. That Ronin, a nice figure for sure. All right, so there are your bad guys from the Cosmos. All right, so we had the X-Men on the other side. On this side, we've got the Avengers. So not one specific Avengers team, kind of an amalgamation of many years of Avengers, because there are so many and so many options and so much shelf space. Down here, you got Sharon Carter, that Dum Dum Dugan, which I think we're getting another one this year. So looking forward to a updated version of that. Ant-Man using the Target Ant-Man, and then your 3.75 inch, and then that tiny little one that came with the Retro Wasp. Just to give you that little beep, 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 beep. So many good figures in here. You know? Yeah, like this 80th Thor, 80th Iron Man, 20th Cap, the new Hawkeye, just a pop of color on that. Then you'll be like, well, why don't you have the Target Black Widow? I like the suit on this Black Widow, so that's why I haven't switched it out. I'm going to find a different place for the other Black Widow because she does deserve to be displayed. She's a great figure. Another select, that Immortal Hulk, man. Such a good figure. Giant Man back there. Great Build-A-Figure, but I am absolutely looking forward to adding the HasLab. I think that's going to look so good in the display. And then, of course, you like I said, this is just a grouping of several versions. So you've got like multiple Hank Pyms up there if you think about it. Yeah. All right, so we had Avengers. Now we got some Avengers villains. Another great villain shelf. Serpent Society coming together. Looking forward to getting more of those. Got some Vault Guardsmen down there. Couple of select figures on this shelf, right? Titanium Man, Abomination. Radioactive Man is such a good figure, but I had the Legends Abomination before. Just this one's much more of a monster of a figure. I think it just looked that much better. A couple other Build-A-Figures here. So Controller, the Ironmonger, cool figures like that. Egghead, like that one too. What don't I like, right? Anyway, moving down to Hydra. We've really been able to build out some Hydra. Got those troopers, of course, Crossbones. Rumored that we might be getting a new Crossbones. I don't know. Could be. Red Skull. I like these figures. I like just the color. Yeah, it looks good. Provides nice contrast. Popped in that Molecule Man back there. Of course, your biggies. Thanos. Ultron. Right up in the front. That's a beautiful Thanos, too. Zemo. So that's your Walgreens one. All right, there you go. There you go. Some villains. Keeping it up with the villains, though, we'll move down to AIM. So I finally was able to get that Super Adaptoid. Not able, right? I was able to get it the whole time. It's just what was I willing to pay for it, right? It finally came down to a reasonable price for what it is, and it's good. So I'm glad that I was able to. I finally added it, but yeah, it definitely was not worth the original price. That Yelena, love having that figure back there too, as she was at some point the Super Adaptoid, right? So that looks good back there. These Toy Story Zorgs, I don't know. I don't remember what they're called, but they make such nice AIM mandroids. Magic Eraser to take that Z off. I did it on one of them, just need to do it on the other. And then this is just a random team, doesn't exist. But again, if you have a lot of Marvel Legends just hanging out, just make up some fake teams, right? There you go. So they're fighting this fake Avengers team. I had this extra Black Panther, which I really liked and didn't want to get rid of it, but I didn't want to replace the retro carded one in the main Avengers display. Again, with this Vision, like I got the new Vision, put that up there, but didn't want to get rid of this retro carded Vision. Wolf Cap is another figure that I just like because it's super random. So that's, if I can give any recommendation, do that with your random figures. Another sort of mixed shelf with some teams, right? So you got some West Coast Avengers, New Avengers, Young Avengers, so many Avengers, always avenging, yada, yada, yada. Looking forward to getting this new Cap, though. I do wish that they would have, actually done a newer figure instead of just giving us the same one. But I think it'll look cool with the wings. And this Tigra, I actually prefer this Cheeto look. So I kept this one in the display as opposed to the one that came in the West Coast Avengers pack. But there's Hank there. There's your Walgreens Daredevil. Love that Riri Williams. It's just really well done figure. And I put that version of Spider-Woman in there. The West Coast Avengers pack version is on another shelf. Just didn't want to get rid of them, right? And then how about some Thunderbolts, right? So all of these folks have been on the Thunderbolts at some time, so give them a spot on a shelf and mix them all together and call it a day. Got a great Deadpool in there, that Bucky cap, U.S. Agent hanging out there. That's actually the shield from the original U.S. Agent. I like the shield looks better than the one we got with the new one, but again, that's more of a user preference, if you will. So for me, I like that one, so switched it out. There's a Punisher. I bought it that way. I didn't do that. I don't know who did. And there's your other Zemo. So yeah, little Thunderbolts for you folks. A little fake out for you. All right, coming down, part 1 of 2 here. So Wolverine, Deadpool, Punisher, 3 of my favorite characters in Marvel. So they are taking up 2 full shelves for all of the different versions of them. I like them all, put together in there, just hanging out. We've gotten so many great figures from this. So, of course, just some nice Punisher figures, cell shaded Wolverine, one of the only cell shaded figures I have in the collection. These brown suits, great Deadpool figures. I had this little Red Guardian. I think that was from the MCU, but it made me laugh at the time. Let's see what else we got going on here. This Punisher, just a sort of a kit bash version. I bought a lot of custom fodder, and somebody had tossed in the entire body for the Netflix Punisher, sans head. So, yeah, what am I going to do with that? So I just took, I think it's a Red Skull jacket and maybe the Walgreens Punisher head or the 80th Punisher head. One of the extra Punisher heads. It's gray suit Daredevil. I still need the Hascon one. I know it's like minor differences, but that is one hole in my collection. Love these Ultimate Rider packs. I think we're getting one more this year, and that may be the end of it, from what I've heard. But do enjoy those. Of course, we're getting a Venom pool this year. So for those of you who have held out for the BAF, good on you. You're getting a Venom pool this year. And I will have 2 Venom pools because I'm sick. All right, here's part 2 of the shelves. This one's coming together, leaving a lot of gaps. We're getting a lot of Wolverine figures this year, and I presume we'll be getting some Deadpools either this year or next because of the movie. So needed to keep some open space in here. And I've still got some holes to fill with like older Marvel Legends figures. I don't know if I want to go back down the Toy Biz route, so I don't think I will, but always some things. Terror hanging out down there. A couple of head pools. That's actually on the Silvermane one, but you got 2 head pools. And then we go from the worst Wolverine in Marvel Legends to possibly the best, or at least the best for now, Wolverine figures. There you go. That's the Wolverine, Deadpool, Punisher trifecta. All right, down here, I've just put together like magic, mystical characters. They just don't really have places on other shelves for now, but they all kind of have that one thing in common. So I think it works for what it is, and definitely is a good filler shelf. You got great pieces in there like Man Thing, and that original Blade, Hasbro Blade. Brother Voodoo. Clea, which I think is such a nice figure. Magic is a great figure as well. And your little like start of a Mindless One army back there. There's another one of those boxes. Like I said, they're great for accessories. All right, putting together like a Ghost Rider thing. So hopefully we do get that Danny Ketch Ghost Rider this year. And at some point a Robbie Reyes and Mephisto, right? Yeah. And D-Man just hanging out because I had nowhere else to put D-Man. This is the second of the made-up team, so we'll just call them the Evil Avengers. Again, these are like things I didn't have a space for in other areas, so they got their own thing. And some symbiotes to kick off what will be referred to as the Spider-Verse tier of shelves. Your Life Foundation. Glad we got that. That 3-pack, you know, Riot may not be all that to write home about, but really kind of just put it all together. So, like how that all looks. Red Goblin hanging out back there. Agent Venom, guns blazing. That Monster Venom, such a good figure. There's Agent Anti Venom. So yeah, so you got symbiotes, you got poison, you got some anti venoms. You know, it's sort of just a mix of thing. Toxin hanging out back there. Chasm is just hanging out for now because it's just a temporary home for Chasm. He's just with his Ben Riley Carnage self. So, and then your symbiote suits, Ultimate Spider-Man. I slept on that figure a little bit. It's tiny and a little weird, but still looks decent. It's not great, but decent. Mania, like that figure though. That Venom from the 3-pack is so good. I bought it twice. You'll see it again in a few moments, but it's just a great Venom. All right, shelf 2 of the Spider-Verse. This is a Spider-Verse madness explosion. A lot going on here. So you got Gamerverse, you've got animated series, you've got comic. I don't really like to mix like MCU stuff in, but I think the Cyborg's, I guess that's not really considered MCU, so we'll go with that argument. But she fit in there. It's just a cool looking figure. Again, one I wouldn't pay full price for, but when the price was right, it was right to add. Spider-Punk down there, your Target Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. I have the other one. He's just not in the shelf for now. Spider-Ham hanging out down there, SPDR. And then a little bit of the Gamerverse stuff. I like these figures. I don't think that this PS5 version really supersedes the PS4 version, but, get your hands on whichever one you can. Mr. Negative and the Goon, like the demons, like I like the way they look. You can use like the Happy figure from that Happy and Iron Man 2-pack. And I think you can get that one pretty cheap and works pretty well for the bodies there. Stiltman, another great Build-A-Figure for sure. Yeah, see Smythe hanging out there from the animated series. It's a mess. I get it. Whatever. All right, moving up into, I guess, what would be my centerpiece for my Spider-Man display. You got Spider-Man hanging out there, looking out for MJ and Gwen. Lizard and everybody just coming in. Spidey senses tingling. A bomb's about to go off. There's a cat playing with it. It's pure chaos. No one knows what's going on. There's that other Venom. Told you it was that good. Hobgoblin, that Sandman Build-A-Figure, Absorbing Man hanging out back there. Some cool figures that are slept on. I think I get it. Molten Man's not as good as he could be, but still good to beef up the display. Amazing Kingpin figure back there. Silvermane. Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. Purple Man. Hard figure to come by, but again, nice to have. Green Goblin. I like that Green Goblin figure. I have the other one you saw earlier in the collection, but I went with this one just for the color. Just pops a little bit more, so I don't know. Display how you want to display, right? Have fun with it. Shocker down there. Switched out the Shockers. You saw the other one with the Thunderbolts. And, of course, that great Doc Ock. Yeah, I like this is one of my favorite shelves as well. I kind of want to change it up a little bit. Maybe do some better tiering in the back. But, yeah, I dig it. And a quick pan. All right, moving over to some Marvel Legends 12-inch figures. I don't have a lot of these. I literally have 4 of them, that is all. But the red suit, Deadpool's over on the other shelf. This Wolverine is fantastic. We haven't gotten a Punisher. This is an older one. I think Icon's version. That sounds right. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But at least there are iterations of those 3 characters. And then the lonely, depressing MCU shelf. It used to be part of the main display, but I have since relocated it over to another area. I started with collecting MCU figures because I used to only collect movie-related figures from other lines like McFarlane and NECA, and that was kind of how I got into the whole Marvel Legends collecting, was through the MCU. Now it's become sort of just the part that I ignore. I don't really put any focus on collecting MCU figures, but if you do, man, good for you. There are like really great figures in the MCU Marvel Legends. Nowadays though, I just kind of pick up pieces here and there, and they're definitely the ones that I wait for. I have no like sort of rush to get any MCU figures. Yeah, you got a little Thunderbolt action. That Deadpool and Punisher, they'll get pulled out of there and moved over to the other shelf anyway. Got some Spider-Man villains coming together. I have the Venom as well. I actually pulled him out, not realizing it, for a comparison, but he exists. What's that? What's that? The lone Eternal in the entire collection. Hey. So, I mean, there are good pieces like this Thanos. This is from that 2-pack with Iron Man. Great looking figure. I will give them that. Like, they do put a lot of effort into sculpting and stuff for the MCU, and I realize a lot of the budget goes there. It's just a part I'm moving away from. Except for Spider-Man. This is from the 3-pack. These aren't the individual releases, but yeah, this hits more of the nostalgia vibe, right? Because of like the Raimi movies for me. But yeah, that Doc Ock and Green Goblin are awesome, awesome figures. Matt's just hanging out back there doing Matt Murdock things. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the MCU and movie Marvel Legends figures.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. There was your Marvel Legends display tour. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Appreciate you for checking out the video. Appreciate you for staying this long if you have. Of course, if you are over on Instagram, you are over on Whatnot, feel free to check those out as well. Most importantly, though, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe below. And until next time, take it easy. Go Ravens.
I'm being erased, I'm being replaced. Counterculture's in your face. It's fun to pretend that you want it to end. I'd rather be a drinking with my friends. When we go out, you'll never see us again.